Sell these 5 things before you retire. Entering retirement, or already immersed in this exciting new chapter of life, presents a truly unique and powerful opportunity to deeply reevaluate what genuinely serves your well-being and aspirations. While a significant portion of conventional retirement advice tends to heavily emphasize accumulation, focusing intensely on how much money you need to save, what specific investments to acquire, or what new possessions you should gather, there exists a remarkably powerful, yet frequently overlooked, secret to truly thriving and finding profound contentment in these golden years. After having the privilege of assisting countless individuals over 16 dedicated years through their complex retirement transitions, a consistent and clear pattern has unequivocally emerged. Genuine peace of mind and an unwavering confidence in this next significant stage of life often stem not from relentlessly gathering more, but from the astute and thoughtful process of strategically letting go of the right things at precisely the opportune moment. This refreshing approach offers a distinctly fresh perspective that wisely diverges from the typical and often narrow focus of pure financial planning. We very frequently encounter 2 distinct yet equally important groups of people as they navigate the path towards retirement. The first group finds themselves pondering deeply, often with a touch of apprehension, asking introspective questions like, "Am I truly, genuinely ready to retire?" And an even more fundamental query, "Do I honestly have enough resources to comfortably sustain the life I envision for myself?" If these heartfelt questions resonate deeply with your current concerns and thoughts, the practical insights and wisdom shared within this guide are specifically designed to significantly boost your confidence, providing much-needed clarity, tangible reassurance, and a clear path forward as you meticulously navigate these profoundly important life decisions. Then, there's the second group, those who exude an unmistakable sense of readiness and vibrant excitement, confidently declaring, "I absolutely know I'm prepared for retirement. Now truly is the perfect and opportune moment to seize these wonderfully vibrant go-go years, and finally, unequivocally embark upon all the thrilling adventures and cherished pursuits I've long deferred and eagerly anticipated." If you wholeheartedly belong to this enthusiastic and forward-looking group, then this comprehensive guide will serve as an invaluable resource, helping you to brilliantly maximize this precious and irreplaceable period of life to its fullest and most rewarding potential, ensuring that every single moment is lived with profound purpose, boundless joy, and deep satisfaction. I will commence by outlining the single item that typically yields the most substantial and immediate financial impact when you make the conscious decision to let it go. Following this, I'll provide you with a straightforward, yet incredibly powerful 3-step framework. This practical guide, which will be introduced towards the end of our discussion, will empower you to confidently and methodically assess each potential decision, helping you to determine with absolute certainty whether selling or retaining these items aligns most harmoniously with your deepest retirement aspirations and desires. The first and most frequently observed item that our clients often consider selling, either just before or during their retirement years, is something that has very likely already crossed your mind: their oversized family home. What began as the perfect abode, ideally suited for a bustling family of 3, 4, or even 5 individuals, eventually transforms as life stages progress and circumstances evolve. With children grown, independent, and having moved on to forge their own successful paths, the once vibrant and absolutely necessary space can suddenly feel vast, perhaps even eerily empty, and disproportionately large for the remaining occupants. The sprawling rooms and extensive grounds can shift from being assets to becoming an ongoing obligation, requiring constant attention and significant resources. Let me share an illustrative example from one of my own cherished clients. They resided in a much-loved house where they had successfully raised 5 children, all of whom had since become fully independent and thriving adults. Despite the deep emotional connection to the physical structure of the home and the countless memories it held, the evolving reality of its considerable size and the persistent demands of its upkeep loomed increasingly large. When we discussed their situation in depth, it became profoundly clear that their affection was primarily tied to the location of their home rather than the entire sprawling structure itself. They deeply cherished the ability to walk leisurely to their charming local downtown area, enjoying its unique shops and cozy cafes, and immensely appreciated its close proximity to a picturesque park, perfect for serene and invigorating strolls. However, one significant aspect they no longer relished was enduring the famously cold and often harsh Illinois winters, a perennial topic of conversation that frequently included wistful dreams of becoming snowbirds and escaping to warmer climes. Their thoughtful solution was both elegantly simple and remarkably financially astute. They decided to sell their large, now oversized family home. With the substantial equity freed up from this successful sale, they were able to comfortably purchase a more manageable, yet equally delightful condo situated in the very same cherished location, perfectly suited for their beloved summer stays. For the colder months, they joyfully embraced their long-held aspiration, relocating to a warmer climate to enjoy a more comfortable, sun-drenched winter lifestyle. This decision, they both later confirmed, was one they never once regretted, finding only increasing satisfaction with their choice. Beyond the immediate comfort and refreshing change of scenery, this strategic move had a profound and overwhelmingly positive impact on their financial well-being. By thoughtfully downsizing, they unlocked an impressive $200,000 of equity, which instantly provided a significant boost to their retirement savings and overall financial security. Furthermore, they successfully reduced their annual household expenses by a remarkable $15,000, a substantial sum previously consumed by the ongoing maintenance, unexpected repairs, and escalating utility costs associated with managing a larger property. But the benefits extended far beyond mere numbers on a spreadsheet. They gained an invaluable and liberating sense of freedom, allowing them to choose precisely where and when they wish to live throughout the year, tailoring their environment to their desires. More importantly, they transitioned from the often burdensome and time-consuming role of house managers, constantly dealing with upkeep, property concerns, and home-related stresses, to becoming true life managers, able to direct their precious energy, time, and attention towards experiences, passions, and relationships that genuinely enriched their retirement years. This profound shift allowed them to prioritize their personal well-being and actively pursue a lifestyle perfectly aligned with the newfound opportunities and desires of their new stage of life. The second major consideration, which often carries significant financial implications for many retirees and can indeed be one of the most emotionally challenging decisions to make, is the difficult choice to either cease or significantly reduce financial support for their adult children, especially when continuing to do so directly compromises the parent's own retirement security. This particular point is undeniably difficult because it deeply challenges the innate and powerful parental instinct to nurture, protect, and provide for our offspring, irrespective of their age or life stage. It tugs powerfully at the heartstrings and can feel profoundly counterintuitive to the lifetime of sacrifices and nurturing efforts parents have consistently made. However, it is absolutely crucial to acknowledge a fundamental and undeniable reality. If you are, for instance, in your 60s, your remaining years of healthy, active living are inherently finite and precious, likely fewer than 1,000 weeks when you truly sit down and consider the implications. These are your prime, irreplaceable years for experiencing retirement fully, unencumbered by past obligations. In stark contrast, your adult children, though they may indeed face their own unique challenges and financial pressures, still have decades stretching out ahead of them. They possess a far greater expanse of time to build their wealth, recover gracefully from any financial missteps or setbacks, learn invaluable lessons from experience, and ultimately establish their own robust and independent sense of security. It is, quite simply, a matter of differing timelines, varying opportunities, and distinct life stages. I distinctly recall clients who, with the purest and best of intentions, willingly delayed their own hard-earned retirement by a full 3 years simply to assist their daughter with the down payment for her house. While their profound desire to help was undeniably admirable and undoubtedly came from a deep place of love and family commitment, those 3 years represented a substantial and irreplaceable portion of their most active and potentially enjoyable retirement period, years they can, quite literally, never reclaim. Meanwhile, their daughter, though she might have faced a slightly harder and more challenging path initially, could have explored conventional mortgage options, gradually built equity over time through her own efforts, and through that invaluable process, cultivated essential financial responsibility, resilience, and independence. The harsh truth that must be faced is this: while there are various loans and financial instruments readily available for adult children to finance homes, vehicles, or higher education, there simply are no equivalent retirement loans or safety nets available for parents whose own savings have been depleted or significantly compromised. Now, let me be absolutely clear on this point. If your current financial situation is robust and secure enough to comfortably help your children without jeopardizing your own long-term financial security or inadvertently enabling unhealthy or dependent financial habits in them, then by all means, do so with a generous spirit. Generosity, when truly and comfortably affordable, is a wonderful and commendable thing. But it is vital, for your own sake and theirs, to draw a clear and firm line. Do not, under any circumstances, sacrifice your own increasingly limited and precious time, your hard-won financial stability, and your invaluable peace of mind for problems that your adult children are perfectly capable of learning to solve for themselves. Empowering them to navigate their own financial challenges and find their own solutions can, in the long run, be a far greater and more enduring gift than simply writing a check. It teaches them resilience, fosters resourcefulness, and builds genuine self-reliance, invaluable virtues that will undoubtedly serve them exceptionally well for decades to come in their own lives. The third category of items that many retirees wisely and consciously choose to release from their lives comprises those expensive toys that, over time, have subtly yet undeniably transformed into equally expensive and often burdensome obligations. We are talking here about leisure assets such as a luxurious boat that, despite its grandeur, sits docked for most of the year, rarely seeing the open water, a sprawling recreational vehicle, RV, that spends far more time in expensive storage than it does on the open road, or a cherished collection of classic cars that, despite their beauty, demand constant attention, significant maintenance, and substantial funds. These items, once potent sources of immense joy, pride, and passion during one's working years, can quietly and insidiously become major drains on both precious financial resources and vital mental energy in retirement, eating away at the very freedom they were meant to provide. Consider for a moment the poignant story of Tom, a client whose deep and abiding passion throughout his entire working life was the meticulous and painstaking restoration of classic automobiles. Over 2 dedicated decades, he had painstakingly built an impressive and truly beautiful collection of 5 exquisite vehicles, each one restored to a state of pristine perfection, gleaming with his dedicated craftsmanship. Tom genuinely adored these cars. They were much more than mere objects or investments. They represented countless weekends spent happily in the garage, numerous late nights under the hood, and the profound and unparalleled satisfaction of breathing new life into a piece of automotive history with his own skilled hands. Each polished chrome bumper, every perfectly tuned engine, and every smooth classic line was a testament to his unwavering dedication, artistic vision, and incredible mechanical skill. However, as Tom gracefully neared the threshold of retirement, a less romantic and more pragmatic reality began to quietly emerge. These 5 exquisite cars, while undeniably beautiful to behold, were subtly yet persistently accumulating substantial and ongoing costs. He was consistently spending approximately $8,000 annually just on storage fees, specialized insurance premiums, and the occasional, yet essential, maintenance required to keep them in top condition. When factoring in registration renewals, professional detailing services, and various other miscellaneous expenses, the total annual cost of merely owning these cars soared to a staggering figure of over $12,000. This was an undeniably significant sum, especially considering that Tom, despite his deep passion, drove each car perhaps only 6 times a year, if that. For the vast majority of the time, they remained static, tucked away in their climate-controlled storage units. Beautiful, but sadly unused. The pivotal moment of clarity for Tom arrived during a comprehensive retirement budget review with his insightful wife. With gentle wisdom and undeniable logic, she presented the stark financial reality. "Honey," she observed kindly, her tone empathetic but firm, "when you truly look at the numbers, it seems we're spending around $2,000 every single time you take one of these cars for a drive." Tom's initial reaction was an immediate and somewhat vehement, "Absolutely not," he insisted with deep conviction. "I'm not selling these cars. These aren't just cars. They represent my life's work, my passion, my very legacy." And I, as his trusted advisor, completely understood his profound sentiment. To Tom, these vehicles were indeed far more than mere transportation. They were a tangible, rolling piece of his identity, living proof of his remarkable craftsmanship, his artistic vision, and his unwavering dedication to his craft. Yet, over the course of the following year, a subtle but undeniably significant shift occurred within Tom. He found himself visiting the storage unit less and less frequently, the initial thrill of ownership slowly giving way to a quiet sense of obligation. The cars remained there, undeniably stunning, yet subtly gathering dust from disuse, waiting. Meanwhile, that relentless $12,000 annual expense continued its persistent drain on their meticulously planned retirement budget, a constant whisper of money spent on something not actively enjoyed. After 12 months, Tom experienced a profound and liberating realization. He was holding onto these cars not primarily for the vibrant, free person he was, now in retirement, but for the person he used to be. The busy working man with a hobby, he was clinging more to the cherished memory and the arduous, satisfying process of restoring them than he was actually deriving active enjoyment from driving them in his present life. This led Tom to a thoughtful and ultimately very wise decision. He chose, with careful consideration, to keep his absolute favorite car, the very first one he had ever painstakingly restored. This particular vehicle held the deepest sentimental value, a link to his beginnings, and, crucially, it was the one he genuinely enjoyed driving the most whenever he chose to go out for a spin, making it his default choice. The other 4 he meticulously prepared and then thoughtfully sold to other discerning collectors who, he knew, would genuinely appreciate them, drive them regularly, and care for them with the same passion and dedication as he once had. The positive impact of this decision was immediate and profoundly substantial. Tom successfully cut his annual expenses by a significant $9,000, immediately freeing up a substantial portion of their retirement income. He also freed up an impressive $180,000 in capital, which could now be wisely reinvested or used to fund other exciting retirement aspirations and experiences. Furthermore, he completely eliminated the persistent stress, logistical headaches, and nagging anxieties associated with maintaining a large collection of vehicles he rarely used. But here's truly the best part of Tom's inspiring story. He still had his beloved classic for those cherished weekend drives and for proudly displaying at local car shows. He managed to retain the pure, unadulterated joy and passion for his hobby without the overwhelming burden that had slowly crept in. He had gracefully transitioned from being a car collector, weighed down by his numerous possessions and their demands, back to being a truly free and unencumbered, car enthusiast. The overarching lesson here is not by any means that you should indiscriminately sell off everything you hold dear. That's certainly not the goal of a joyful retirement. Instead, it's a powerful and liberating reminder that sometimes the very act of holding on to everything can inadvertently prevent you from truly appreciating and fully enjoying anything. Tom's experience beautifully and eloquently illustrates how a strategic and thoughtful letting go of some possessions can, paradoxically, deepen our appreciation for what truly remains and what genuinely matters most in our lives. Before we delve into the final two crucial items on our list, I genuinely appreciate it if you could let me know if these insights are proving helpful and resonant so far. A quick click on the like button below sends a clear and encouraging signal, and if you have your own valuable experiences to share, perhaps something you've successfully sold, or even just freed up mental space or precious time that significantly enhanced your retirement, please share it in the comments below. Your thoughtful contributions can often be incredibly valuable and genuinely inspiring for other readers who are navigating similar transitions and seeking guidance. Moving on to the fourth item, which is also interestingly car-related, consider your vehicle situation, particularly if you are married and own 2 cars. Once you've gracefully transitioned into retirement, the daily commute, that ingrained ritual for so many years, becomes a thing of the past for most. This naturally begs the practical and very important question: do you genuinely need multiple vehicles simply sitting idly in your garage, steadily depreciating in value with each passing day, and consistently racking up unavoidable costs for insurance premiums, annual registration renewals, and ongoing maintenance? The financial drain from these accumulating expenses can be far more significant than many initially realize, not just in direct tangible costs, but also in the missed opportunities for that same money to be utilized more effectively elsewhere in your retirement. I distinctly recall a thoughtful couple who faced this very common dilemma. They had 2 cars, both well-maintained and reliable, but one of them was rarely used after they both entered retirement. They decided to conduct a thorough and honest financial assessment, meticulously calculating the true annual cost of owning that second, less used vehicle. This comprehensive calculation encompassed everything from insurance and registration to depreciation and projected maintenance expenses. For them, this added up to over $3,000 a year for the less used car alone, a substantial sum that could clearly be put to better use. To truly test the waters before making a permanent and irreversible decision, they embarked on a simple yet insightful experiment. For a 2-month period, they intentionally pretended they only had 1 car, sharing it and coordinating their schedules as needed, just to see what life would be like. The outcome was genuinely surprising to them. They found it far easier and significantly less disruptive than they had initially anticipated, adapting with remarkable ease. This successful trial gave them the profound confidence to act decisively. They ultimately sold the second car, immediately freeing up valuable capital and, perhaps even more importantly, completely eliminating that recurring $3,000 annual expense from their budget. Now, that additional money is no longer tied up in a depreciating asset and its associated costs. Instead, they have a larger and more flexible pool of funds available to invest in experiences they truly value, such as more frequent and extensive travel to places they've always dreamed of visiting, or pursuing exciting new hobbies and passions together. It's a clear and compelling example of how a seemingly small and straightforward adjustment can lead to substantial and transformative gains in both financial flexibility and overall lifestyle enrichment during the precious years of retirement. After discussing this next profound point, I'll share the comprehensive 3-step framework specifically designed to help you methodically evaluate whether you should truly sell something or make the conscious choice to stop a particular habit or activity. It's a series of just 3 core questions, along with some important and insightful considerations. The 5th and perhaps most profound thing to consider letting go of is often the hardest to shed, precisely because it isn't a tangible item you can list on an online marketplace like eBay or hand down to someone else. This is your deeply ingrained work identity, or the persistent and often unconscious need for professional validation that may have defined so much of your adult life. For a great many people, a specific job title, a chosen career path, or a particular professional role becomes intricately and deeply woven into the very fabric of who they perceive themselves to be, shaping their self-worth and their place in the world. I once worked with a client, let's call him Dr. Michael Miller, not his real name, who had enjoyed a highly successful and distinguished 30-year career as a respected surgeon. Financially, he was more than prepared for retirement. His assets were robust, his pension secure, and his plans were meticulously laid out, ensuring a comfortable future. However, a mere 6 months into his post-career life, he confessed to me with a palpable sense of longing. You know, I used to be Dr. Michael Miller. Now, in retirement, I'm just Michael Miller. He articulated a profound sense of loss, a palpable missing of that doctor piece that had given him so much purpose, status, structure, and self-worth for so many decades. In an unconscious attempt to reclaim that familiar feeling of identity and importance, he began volunteering at a free clinic, driven by a deep-seated need to feel like Dr. Michael again, even in a different, less demanding capacity. He was, in essence, clinging to the familiar comfort and perceived security of his old identity instead of boldly stepping forward to discover and embrace a vibrant new one. The real breakthrough for Michael came when he consciously chose to stop trying to recreate Dr. Michael in his retirement. Instead, he started genuinely and curiously exploring what it meant to simply be Michael, and more excitingly and liberatingly, who he could become outside the confining parameters of his professional past. He rediscovered long dormant hobbies that ignited his interest and creativity, such as woodworking, finding immense satisfaction and therapeutic joy in creating beautiful things with his own hands. He also found a renewed and profound sense of purpose in mentoring young, aspiring doctors, sharing his vast medical experience and wisdom without the crushing demands of daily surgical practice. And perhaps most beautifully and meaningfully, he fully embraced the cherished role of Grandpa Michael, stepping into this new identity with a depth, presence, and loving engagement that had been utterly impossible during his demanding 50-60-hour work weeks as a busy surgeon. Here's an essential and liberating truth. Your job title was never truly who you were. It was simply and accurately what you did. The most successful, genuinely fulfilled, and truly happy retirees are not those who desperately attempt to replicate or cling to their work identity in retirement. Rather, they courageously and wisely utilize this invaluable period of life to unearth and joyfully rediscover parts of themselves that had been buried, often for decades, beneath the weight of professional responsibilities, societal expectations, and career pressures. It's a precious time for self-discovery, for exploring latent talents, for nurturing neglected passions, and for defining oneself anew on one's own terms. You simply cannot fully discover your authentic, evolving identity while simultaneously clinging desperately and rigidly to your old one. This profound act of letting go of your work identity, or at least your dependence on it for your core sense of self-worth and purpose, may very well be the single most crucial thing you sell or consciously release in retirement, ultimately paving the way for a richer, more authentic, and deeply satisfying existence. Now, let's transition to that powerful 3-step framework I promised, a practical and insightful guide designed to help you confidently and thoughtfully decide what truly deserves to be sold, released, or simply reevaluated in your life. It's built around 3 core questions, each prompting deeper and more meaningful reflection. The first question to ask yourself is, does this still serve my new life, or does it primarily serve my old life? This question lies at the very heart of the profound identity transition that retirement inevitably brings. It challenges you to look beyond superficial attachment and delve into the deeper underlying purpose of an item or a commitment. Ask yourself honestly and introspectively, was this particular possession or responsibility important primarily because of who I was during my active working life? Or does it truly align with who I am becoming in my retirement? Will I genuinely utilize this in the lifestyle I now aspire to live, one shaped by choice and personal fulfillment? Or am I simply retaining it out of ingrained habit, a lingering sense of obligation, or a reluctance to embrace change, rather than because it genuinely adds meaningful, active value to my current retirement experience? This deep introspection is absolutely vital for creating mental, emotional, and physical space for your evolving self and your new life. The second question is, what is this really costing me, and what is its true worth? Beyond the initial purchase price, it's imperative to look at the total cost of ownership, which is often far more extensive and insidious than one might initially perceive. Consider the direct financial costs. These are the obvious and tangible expenses like recurring insurance premiums, ongoing maintenance and repair costs, storage fees for large items, utility bills, especially for a large house or a second home, property taxes, and any other regular payments. These are the tangible figures that deplete your cash flow and reduce your financial flexibility. Then, consider the often overlooked opportunity costs. This is where many people miss a crucial point. What else could that money, whether it's capital tied up in an unused asset or the cumulative annual expenses, be doing to advance your specific retirement goals? Could it fund more travel, allow you to pursue a new and exciting hobby, contribute to a meaningful legacy, or simply provide a greater, more comforting sense of financial security and freedom? Furthermore, think about the energy costs. These are the non-monetary drains on your well-being. How much precious time, mental bandwidth, and outright stress does this item or commitment persistently demand from you? Is it a constant source of worry, a nagging chore on your perpetual to-do list, or a drain on your emotional reserves? Finally, consider the space costs. Is this item or commitment preventing you from living in the geographical location you truly desire, or dictating how you want to live your retirement? Does it occupy valuable physical space that could be better utilized, or even dictate the size and type of home you feel compelled to maintain? The third question is, if I let this go, what truly becomes possible? This question encourages a powerful and liberating shift in perspective, moving from a limiting mindset of scarcity, what will I lose, to one of exciting abundance, what can I gain? Instead of dwelling on what you're giving up, deliberately focus on the new doors that will open for you. What incredible new experiences, adventures, and opportunities could be freed up with those reclaimed funds, that liberated time, and that newfound mental energy? What specific burdens or stresses could be completely eliminated from your life, allowing for greater peace, tranquility, and genuine relaxation? What novel opportunities, previously unthinkable or out of reach, might now open up for you, inviting you to explore new horizons? And just as importantly, how would simplifying this particular area of your life feel to you? Imagine the profound lightness, the exhilarating freedom, the renewed sense of control and clarity that could infuse your daily existence. This forward-looking and optimistic perspective can be incredibly motivating and transformative. Here's a highly practical and deeply insightful tip that many of my clients find incredibly valuable, similar to the ingenious approach taken by the couple who tested life with a single car. Before committing to any permanent and irreversible decision, especially when considering selling a significant asset, try implementing a 90-day test. For a period of 60 to 90 days, make a conscious and deliberate effort to live as if you've already made the decision to let go of that item. For instance, if you're deliberating whether to sell your RV, live for 3 months as though you no longer own it. Avoid using it, mentally reallocate its associated costs to other areas of your budget, and diligently observe what genuinely feels missing, if anything at all. Apply the very same principle to a second car or even a second home. During this enlightening trial period, also mentally simulate the positive financial outcome. Imagine the money from the sale is already securely deposited in your retirement account, ready to be deployed for your chosen goals. How does that truly feel? Do you genuinely miss the physical item, or do you, surprisingly, experience a profound sense of relief, lightness, and newfound financial freedom? A surprising number of my clients are genuinely shocked and delighted by how incredibly freeing it feels to release themselves from the obligations, attachments, and unseen burdens connected to things they once believed were absolutely essential, only to discover that they were largely unnecessary encumbrances preventing them from living their best retirement. This simple test provides invaluable real-world data and personal insight before you make an irreversible choice. It is absolutely crucial to remember that retirement, at its very core, is not about deprivation or simply doing without. It is fundamentally about thoughtful optimization. It's about intelligently and purposefully making ample room in your life for what truly matters most: your passions, your cherished relationships, your health, your personal growth, and your profound peace of mind, by thoughtfully and strategically letting go of anything that no longer genuinely serves you in this vibrant new chapter. The happiest, most fulfilled, and truly contented retirees I have had the privilege of working with are rarely those who possess the greatest quantity of material possessions or accumulate the most stuff. Instead, they are the wise individuals who have mastered the art of distinguishing between what they own and what, perhaps unknowingly or subtly, owns them. Every single item you choose to keep, every commitment you maintain, subtly and consistently demands a piece of your precious attention, a portion of your hard-earned money, and a measure of your finite energy. In retirement, these three invaluable resources, your time, your money, and your energy, become your most irreplaceable and precious assets. It is paramount that you do not squander them on things that made perfect sense and served a purpose in the context of your old working life, but no longer truly align with or genuinely fit into your new, vibrant, and personally defined retirement existence. If this discussion and these insights have proven helpful and resonant to you, please consider giving this video a like. Your positive feedback genuinely helps ensure that more people can discover this valuable perspective as they plan for or navigate their own unique retirement journeys. And for even more practical strategies and inspiring ideas to enhance your retirement journey, be sure to check out the recommended video next. Thank you for reading and take care.